Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Today we're breaking down the first round matchups in the Eastern Conference for the NBA playoffs. 2017 NBA playoffs kicking off. Here we go. Take this ride with me, like Dr. Dre said. Let me ride. So let's go. The matchup we're taking a look at is the 1-8, which is Boston Celtics, the 1 seed, versus the Chicago Bulls, the 8 seed. I love this matchup, and I love most of the matchups in the Eastern Conference due to this. None of them are really a sure thing except for like maybe one matchup. This 1-8 matchup can potentially go 6 to 7 games. You got a Celtics team which has youth. They have great point guard playing Isaiah Thomas. They have great shooting guard playing Avery Bradley, who sometimes struggles scoring the basketball. They have a wild card in Marcus Smart, who sometimes reminds me of like Lance Stevenson when Lance used to be on the Indiana Pacers. So you have all of that, but what you also have is great coaching. And that coaching from Brad Stevens has them at the number 1 seed. They play great basketball all year. They're one of the few teams to, put some whoopings on some solid contenders, what I'm saying? Like the Golden State Warriors went in there and beat them. So there's not a lot of bad things you can say about this team except for like their inexperience. Now you look at the Chicago Bulls on the other hand, they have a ton of experience, but none of the experience has come into a cohesive unit. And Jimmy Butler is almost halfway out the door. Dwayne Wade is coming back off an elbow injury. We don't know how effective he's going to be. This series pretty much boils down to who can shoot the 3-ball better. The Boston Celtics, in order to win this series, they have to make sure that they're not knocking down the 3-point ball at a consistent clip. The Chicago Bulls are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. So it shouldn't be a problem to outshoot them from 3. But here's the problem for the Celtics. Are you going to get enough scoring from Crowder, Avery Bradley, and take some pressure off Isaiah Thomas? Because Isaiah Thomas can't continue to give you 28 to 30 a night and you're not backing them up with a lot of scoring support. It's like baseball. You need RBI. So we need guys on the Boston Celtics to step up and give them runs batted in. On the other hand, the Chicago Bulls fought their way into the playoffs. You got a hungry Jimmy Butler. You have Dwayne Wade, who knows how to play in the playoffs. This has all the makings of an upset. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's pretty much counted Chicago out. Rajon Rondo's another guy they counted out. And now look at him. He actually helped Chicago get to the playoffs, and he was dominating the basketball in a fashion and moving the ball, which reminded you of Rajon Rondo of old. If I have to lean one way or the other, I'm leaning towards the Celtics. Celtics winning 6 games. Win the series 4-2. Moving on, Cavs and the Indiana Pacers. This series, I like the star matchup, but the thing is, and I'm just going to bring this out right away, everybody's talking about how bad Cleveland has been playing, but nobody else has been like a better team in the East than Cleveland. Cleveland has too much talent. Dare I say their coaching is much better than what people want to give credit for. They have too much shooting. They just have too much shooting, and the way that they play through LeBron and Kyrie facilitates all of those shooters. All these other shooters, if they were on any other team, they would be, they'll average like 4 points a game. But they get open looks. Sometimes you might get Richard Jefferson hit you with 12. Kyle Korver can get you 15 sometimes, just off all the gravity that LeBron and Kyrie demand. And then you throw in Kevin Love in the mix. It's a problem. Paul George, basically, he has a young nucleus around him in Miles Turner. He has Lance back. And he also has Jeff Teague. But at the end of the day, what does Jeff Teague do when it's pressure time? And, we've seen that last year in the playoffs, turn over the ball, stuff like that. And then when you look at what Paul George brings to the table, he's a great scorer, he's a great defender, but sometimes he could be a little inconsistent. Sometimes he could keep shooting the basketball and shoot himself into a hole, and he has to shoot himself back out. And by that point, the team's already down 20. It might work against Toronto, which it did last year. I think the series went it went 7 games. Both teams were doing the same thing, keep shooting, but there's other ways to influence a game. And I feel like LeBron James is going to find other ways to influence the basketball game to go in their favor. Now, the wild card factor is Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson could possibly give the Cleveland Cavaliers some fits because Cleveland Cavaliers defense hasn't been so great. And you saw what he did to Miami when he was on. Like, you couldn't deny it. Like, he was a problem. So we'll see how that goes. I still have the Cavs winning that series. I have them winning in 5 games. Next series we're talking about is the 3-6 matchup. Toronto Raptors at the 3 spot versus the Milwaukee Bucks. I love this series because this has the makings of a 7-game series. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have Thon Maker as another rookie. You have Malcolm Brogdon, which is he could be the rookie of the year. You have Jason Kidd, which is a savvy mind. Milwaukee has length. They have great play all around. Dellavedova's a gritty defender who could get up into Kyle Lowry. And then you have the Toronto Raptors who are still trying to incorporate Serge Ibaka. You know, DeMar DeRozan has emerged as a star in this league. And you have Kyle Lowry who's kind of been taking a backseat, little regression there because he's coming off an injury. So this has the makings of a 7-game series. The Toronto Raptors, for some reason, the past 3 years or 2 years, they've been playing 7-game series in the playoffs. So that doesn't surprise me that this might go 7 games. And due to the fact that the Toronto Raptors have home court advantage, I'm going to give the series to the Toronto Raptors. Although, 2 years ago, they lost Game 7 to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, you remember that. All right, then. So if you remember that, let's call a spade, man. You never know what can happen in these playoffs. Even though I'm giving it to the Toronto Raptors in 7 games, anything can happen. I think this is one of them series we're going to enjoy. We're going to enjoy it a lot. I love watching the Toronto Raptors atmosphere, the playoff atmosphere. It feels like it's the finals every time you're watching the game. People going crazy outside. I love it. Then we have the 4-5 matchup. Washington Wizards at the 4 and Atlanta Hawks at the 5. Now, a lot of people are giving this series to the Washington Wizards. You know, I could see why. John Wall's been playing great. He's matured a lot. He's averaging double-digit assists. He's one of the best point guards in the league. Him and Bradley Beal are one of the best backcourts in the league. Can't even front on them anymore. The problem with them is they have been inconsistent. That's the same issue with the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, sometimes they play their starters. Sometimes they play their bench because Mike Budenholzer is trying to find the right concoction. You know, Dwight Howard has been in and out of the lineup. Paul Millsap has been their rock. And you got to give them a lot of credit because the Atlanta Hawks are in the playoffs despite losing Jeff Teague and despite losing DeMar Carroll. You know, they're really, to me, they're a solid basketball team. People don't give them a lot of credit, but they deserve a lot more credit than they're getting. Now, this may surprise you, but I'm going with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going with the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. This series has the making of a 7-game series. The last time they met each other in the playoffs, it was a crazy matchup. People, I think Paul Pierce was on the Wizards at the time. He hit a game winner at one point. They were just going back and forth, back and forth. I do know that the Washington Wizards have grown up as a nucleus. They have one of the twins on their team, the Morris twins, Markieff Morris. But I feel like Paul Millsap is that deciding factor. Don't forget, Atlanta Hawks have Dwight Howard, who's just a great rim protector. So John Wall's not going to be able to get in the paint like that. But Paul Millsap is the guy. The Washington Wizards don't have an answer for Paul Millsap. If Paul Millsap can realize, hey, these guys can't mess with me. I'm the man. They can't mess with me. If he gets a little ego in him, the Atlanta Hawks could take the series. I'm being dead serious. Like, if you look at the Hawks, Charles Barkley didn't even pick them to make it to the playoffs. Didn't even pick them to make it to the playoffs. Not only did they make it to the playoffs, they're a 5th seed. So that goes to tell you how much work they have done. And another thing is, when it comes to X's and O's, I give Mike Budenholzer a huge advantage over Scott Brooks, who has shown himself to make big blunders, not call timeouts when he's supposed to. You know, that's pretty much what got him ousted out of OKC. His X's and O's weren't really up to par. You know what I'm saying? And this matchup right here has the makings of a 7-game series, and the Atlanta Hawks can possibly take the series. Now, everybody's saying that Wizards match up better with Cleveland, but styles make fights, and this matchup is not good for the Washington Wizards because you have a big guy and Dwight Howard who's athletic, rim protector. You have a 4 that's bigger than your 4, can shoot, can pass, can do everything, command a double team. You have Schroeder, who can get into the paint. And you have Bradley Beal, who's pretty much... Bradley Beal is like the only X factor that they have to me. And sometimes he's inconsistent shooting the basketball. So that being said, I love this series. This is a 7-game series, easily. And I got the Hawks winning in 7. That's my Eastern Conference NBA playoffs preview, pardon me. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think is going to win in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Peace.